Hello, hello. It is another great week here in Georgia real estate. I am Sarah Maslowski with Moving to Georgia, real estate agent serving the North Metro Atlanta area and helping connect you with really great real estate agents across the state. And today we are coming to you to talk about the new announcement of what was just announced of something that's coming, possibly an NHL hockey team. That is a little bit kind of crazy. Well, they're trying to lure a hockey team to coming Forsyth County. But before we get into that, this week we had the pleasure of helping some clients from California find their dream home here in Georgia and get them under contract. And then we also were able to help a family from Florida see their house for the very first time today. And when I say for the very first time, today was their closing day, and it was their very first time seeing the house in person and touching it in person. Tiny bit scary, not really the ideal way to buy a house, but sometimes circumstances call for it and you're relocating from out of state and you can't physically be here to look at the house. So then we are your eyes and ears on the ground, showing you homes virtually to help you find the house that connects with you through being, your boots on the ground people. So we did all of those showings virtually. We found the right house for them, negotiated that contract, had the great inspection, and then today was closing day, and they were seeing it for the very first time here in Georgia. So I'm curious, is that something that you would be able to do? Would you buy a house without seeing it yourself physically in person? Let me know in the comments below. For me as a real estate agent, it's incredibly nerve-wracking because you don't want to get it wrong, right? You want to make sure that your clients really love the house and you don't want to mess it up. There is really no backing out at the time that you get there to the actual closing day. Knock on wood, we have not had any clients that have not loved the house that we have shown them virtually. But that's why when you reach out to us and we do a virtual tour, we are incredibly critical of the house. We're your eyes, your ears, your nose. We want to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly about this home, because the worst thing that can happen is that you get here in person and you don't like it, or you say, hey, you didn't tell me about the neighbor's backyard looking kind of junky, or you didn't tell me that this smells funky, So we definitely want to make sure that we're very honest with you. So that has been my week so far, and it's only Wednesday, and here we are connecting with you. So thanks for joining us live, and I would love to know where you're watching us from. So if you haven't already, go ahead and drop that in the comments below. I love finding out all the different areas and countries. We've gotten a lot of different countries of people watching us as well. So I would love to know where you're watching us from, and if you could buy a house sight unseen or without seeing that in person. Let me know if you would be someone that would be willing to do that. Again, it's not something I push, but it's very interesting to see how there's different types of people out there. John said, yes, he would be able to do that with the current technology. Yeah. So it's really virtual tours or something that has really come about as of the pandemic. And people are way more comfortable with seeing things virtually. I guess that's one of the good things that's come out of the pandemic, right? Way more comfortable with that. And so we like to do those either FaceTime, or we do recorded video tours and we upload that into a private link to share that with you. So John would be brave, and you're watching us from Southern California. Thank you. So we just helped some Southern California clients get their dream home here in Georgia under contract today. So that's super exciting. They get back on a plane tomorrow. And it's crazy. They live in a 1,500 square foot house in California, and then their 1,500 square foot budget in California gets them a 6,000 square foot house here in Georgia with a backyard. So they're going from a 1,500 square foot condo to a huge house here in Georgia, which their minds were blown. They were also blown away about how green everything was here in Georgia. It's really exciting for me, and kind of one of the fun perks about this position is finding out all the unique things about houses here in Georgia and how they kind of compare to the houses where people are coming from. So one thing that was surprising to me, and I guess it makes sense, but my Florida people today were saying that they were surprised that the garage had drywall up and that it was finished and painted. And I was like, yeah, that all the garages here in Georgia, almost all the garages have that. And then they reminded me, oh, houses in Florida are primarily built out of cinder blocks. So there is not drywall up on, it's just the cinder block walls. So that was interesting to me. Obviously, we build our houses here out of brick and wood. So obviously wood's not going to stand up in Florida. Speaking of Florida, Andres is watching us from Jacksonville and moving to Suwannee in June of 2023. That's so exciting. If we haven't got a chance to connect and help you with that, we would love to help you make that move to Suwannee. It is a very popular area, very competitive area to move to as well. So speaking of popular and competitive, let's talk about what is coming to Cumming. So it was a big announcement, was announced Monday, breaking news. It was all over the news here. Everyone was sharing it in local friends and in their Facebook feed, and they were all sharing this article. And so I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to get my screen up and going here. So it was announced that a massive arena project was just announced in South Forsyth County. So Forsyth County is where Cumming is located. And they announced that they were going to bring this huge arena to South Forsyth, and they're going to call it the Gathering at South Forsyth. It's going to be the intersection of Ronald Reagan Boulevard and Union Hill Road, and it's planned to create a world-class entertainment hub for North Georgia, including best-in-class dining, local and high-end retail, a boutique, a business hotel, community center, and the arena itself. They're envisioning this to be a global entertainment hub, and it's going to provide the ability to see concerts and ice shows. They're hoping that there's just going to be a James Beard award-winning restaurant that they can get to here without having to drive all the way into Atlanta. So currently there's not really something of this magnitude in the metro suburbs, with the exception of the Battery, which is where the Atlanta Braves play. The Battery is located in Marietta. And so they have the baseball stadium there, and then outside the baseball stadium is this huge shopping and entertainment and dining destination. And so it's really neat. You can eat at all these different restaurants. You can shop at these stores, and it's just right there outside of the Atlanta Braves baseball stadium. And it's a really big kind of destination to go to. And so not only if you don't have tickets to the game, you can still hang out and people watch and eat and kind of see all the sights and the sounds and really enjoy it. And they're envisioning this exact same type of thing to happen in Cumming in Forsyth County, with the exception of they're trying to lure an NHL hockey team back to Georgia. So some of you may remember Atlanta used to have a hockey team back in the day, the Atlanta Thrashers. But no more. There's not an NHL team at all in Georgia. And so their thought is that if they build it, they will come, whether it's going to be concerts or an NHL team that they're trying to lure to the area. Now, we do have an arena in Gwinnett County, the Gath South Arena, and that holds smaller concerts, but they're expecting this to be a much, much bigger arena area. So can I click on these pictures? Yeah, there you go. So this is their renderings of what they think this is going to look like. Now, this has not been approved yet by the county, and this is just going before the boards. But the developer of this is actually a local business owner that owns a bunch of car dealerships throughout Georgia and the Southeast. And they've been working with a consulting firm that specializes in sports arenas. And this is what they've come up with. And so this is the renderings of the pictures of what they envision that this is going to look like. And this is pretty darn exciting. I mean, right now I live in Gainesville, and getting to the Battery where the Atlanta Braves play is not a fun commute. So it's fun to go to the game. It's fun to enjoy it. But the traffic to get over there is a headache and a nightmare. And you really have to plan a good 2 hours just to get there, park, and get to the venue. And so it's a little bit of a headache. And so having something like this that's going to be just, 30 minutes away, it's going to be super exciting. And especially for the rest of North Metro Atlanta area to have something like this, man, that's super exciting. So this is kind of their vision of what the outdoor live, work, play scenario is going to look like. And this is very kind of reminiscent of what the Battery looks like in Atlanta. So that is super, super duper exciting. So I'm curious if you're from here, if you've heard about this and kind of what you think, and do you think that Cumming, Georgia has the ability to draw an NHL team? Definitely they would have to call it the Atlanta something, just like they call it the Atlanta Braves, but the Atlanta Braves are actually Marietta, Cobb County Braves. They're no longer in proper Atlanta. So that this project will be kind of similar caliber to other successful executed mixed-use developments like Avalon and Halcyon. If you've watched any of our videos on Alpharetta, you've seen us talk about Avalon and Halcyon. Those are very, very popular outdoor shopping centers. So this is something super exciting. We'll have to stay tuned to see if this actually makes it through planning and development and zoning, and making sure that this is something that's going to actually work out. They said that they're planning on having about 7,000 seats larger than Gath South Arena. So that's going to be at least 30,000 seats. And here it says, while many have speculated that the arena could be home to a sports team, with rumors that the arena could be used for a National Hockey League team, obviously Warner, the developer, has said that nothing has been settled with or without any sports affiliation. The project should do good things. So they're saying that even if they don't get a commitment from a sports team, they're still moving forward with these plans. It's not contingent upon landing an NHL team. Again, it's build it and they will come. So you might be asking yourself, how long is it going to take to build? Warner, the project developer, said it's going to be about a 3-year build out once construction begins, and no incentives are being sought by the developer. So they're not expecting that Forsyth County is going to pay like any tax incentives to get this built. So I'm curious, what do you think about this? If you're local and you're watching, let me know. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. We have Milton watching from Brazil. Thank you for joining us. That's super exciting. So again, if you are just joining us, welcome to the live stream. Sarah Maslowski. We talk about moving to Georgia, answering all of your real estate questions. So if you have any questions about making a move, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and I'll make sure that we get to those and get your questions answered about what's currently happening in the real estate market. But we are talking now about the big development that is supposedly coming to Cumming. And you might be asking yourself, like, why is Cumming so up and coming? She'll enjoy that dad joke. I love a good pun. So Cumming is a very popular city, and it's something that we get a lot of calls on. And it's no wonder why it's so popular. You can check out some really great videos that I've made all about moving to Cumming. We just made one a couple of weeks ago about the top 5 new construction communities in Cumming. And really the reason that it's been so popular is in large part due to the location. So I'm going to show you a map of where Cumming is located. All right, so if we take a look at this, Cumming right here, and you'll see that I'm going to zoom out so that you can see the city of Atlanta. Zoom out some more. We got to keep going. All right, so Cumming is just about kind of like northeast of Atlanta. It's going to take you a good solid 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer with traffic, to get into the heart of Atlanta. But if we zoom in to give you a little bit more of a regional perspective, you see that Cumming is sitting right here on the southwest side of Lake Lanier. So this is a huge lake. So it's hugely popular for if you want to be on the lake, but you want to be close to a big city, like you want to be on Cumming. You want to be on this side of the lake if you want to be close to Alpharetta, because you have Georgia 400, which just drops right down in there. And let's see here. Yeah. So you've got Georgia 400. So one of the reasons that Cumming is so popular is because of its location to Alpharetta. So Alpharetta has been a wildly popular town and has seen a lot of population growth, as has Cumming. the average home price of a house in Alpharetta is going to be in the high 600s. And if you look at the average home price of a house in Cumming, you're in the 500s. So drastically different price points. And one of the great things about these two areas is that they both have really great school systems. So if you're someone and you're looking to move to Alpharetta and you want the appeal of the good schools and you like the area and you like the shopping, you like the restaurants, but you start looking around and you're like, dang, home prices here are really expensive. And to get what I want, I'm way outside my price point of what I feel comfortable with. Well, you just go straight up Georgia 419, and here is the town of Cumming, and you can actually even find, a more affordable housing down here in South Cumming, which puts you at a much closer distance to Alpharetta. And hey, you still have the same really great, highly rated school systems, not the same school systems, but different school systems, but still very highly rated, essentially equivalent ratings, and you get more house for your money. Well, it is kind of like a no-brainer, and that's kind of pushed a lot of the development and the growth into Cumming, which is why we're seeing so many people move to Cumming, because they're seeking out those more affordable homes. Now, another thing that you have to note about Alpharetta is that it's an older town and it's pretty much built out. There is no more land to build houses on. And so if you drive around Cumming, you'll see that there's a new build off the side of the road next to an old house. And it's because, well, they either tore down a home or there was one little parcel of land that no one has built a house on. But it's rare to find new neighborhoods in Alpharetta because there's just not that much acreage left in Alpharetta to develop on. If you do find new construction, it's going to be kind of like those cluster homes or kind of like single family homes, but almost townhomes. Do you know what I mean? Like zero lot lines, how you have like no backyard, and they're building kind of like tall, skinny houses all clustered together. That's what you're going to find in Alpharetta. But if you drive 20 minutes up the road, up Georgia 400, you get into Cumming, and there's a lot more land up here that has not been developed yet, or that is in the process of being developed by developers. And so you have all of these new construction communities and houses going into Cumming to meet the demand of people just like you who are watching and moving into the area. So that is one of the reasons that Cumming has become so popular, is because of its proximity to Alpharetta, and that growth of Alpharetta has pushed the growth north to Cumming. Another thing that makes it popular, like I said, is the location, and you have Georgia 400, which just takes you right down into Alpharetta and down into Atlanta. But this Alpharetta, Johns Creek area, it's become a big kind of like little tech hub of jobs and growth. And so that's bringing a lot of people to the area. Cumming's more affordable, and that is one of the big reasons why we're seeing so many people choose to live in Cumming. All right, let's take it to the comments. What is your opinion on getting independent home inspections on a new construction home? Have you ever seen issues with builders refusing these inspections? I always think it's a great idea to have an independent home inspection. I personally never encountered like anything crazy with a new construction bill, but I've seen other agents who have had clients where they discover the gas wasn't hooked up properly, or some connections weren't connected at all. And so those are things that if you don't have like a trained home inspector that knows where to look and get to the nitty gritties, it's something that we as agents, or you as a average home buyer, we know to look for the cosmetic things, and we can say, oh, that light switch is crooked, or hey, this light bulb's not working. Like we get those types of things, but we're not getting up into the attic and looking at the rafters and all those kind of things to see what the quality of that construction or what may have been missed. So I always think it's great to have a home inspection done, and you can actually have a 2-part home inspection done for new construction. So you can have, if you're building a home from the ground up or like from the framing stage, you can actually have a pre-drywall inspection so that the home inspector can come in and look at the electrical and the bones of the house before they put up the drywall and cover that up. Now, sometimes with new construction, you are buying it when the home's almost finished. So you miss out that opportunity to do that pre-drywall inspection, but I still recommend doing that. Now, when it comes to builders, It's a red flag if a builder will not let a home inspector come in there. You have a right as a buyer to have the home inspected. Now, the builder can put restrictions on who can do that inspection. And so what we typically see is that builders will say, yes, you can have a home inspector come in there, but we want to see their certification and we want to make sure that they carry a certain level of liability insurance just in case if something were to happen to that home inspector while they're in the house, or if they cause injury or they get hurt, they have the insurance to protect themselves. So that's the builder covering their butts. And it's also kind of like a good sign if it's just a run-of-the-mill home inspector that maybe just got their certification online and they paid for a $300 course and they're doing this by, as their third job. Those types of home inspectors are likely not going to have the right certification, nor are they going to carry the right level of liability insurance. So your professional home inspectors, they want to be able to go into these communities and inspect these new construction homes. They do carry all of those requirements. So it's very common to see a builder say, yes, this is the level of certification that we require, send that over. Now, one thing to note, though, is that the builder is only going to fix things that are cosmetic and things that are needed to be done to bring the home up to code of what the current code is for that county. Sometimes you'll have inspectors that will have a different opinion on how something should have been done, and the builder is always going to default to this was built according to code, and so they're going to default to that. So if it's code, or if it's not code, then of course the builder is going to bring it up to code because they have to, but they're always going to default back to code. But fantastic question. Your real estate agent should have a fantastic recommendation for a local home inspector that they know, like, and trust. And so make sure that you lean on your real estate agent. That's why it's really important to make sure that you're working with someone that's super knowledgeable and that does a lot of transactions with buyers, because they're going to have these really great relationships. Trust me, I'm not going to recommend a home inspector to you that I can't stand behind as well, because my business relies on their ability to deliver a good product or service to you as my client. And I don't mean good as in that they don't find the bad things. I mean good in that they will find the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to that house. OTR Monk says, I'm just glad I bought my house in 2018. Well, people that say that in 2018, there's going to be people watching this 5 years from now that are going to say, dang, I wish, or I'm so thankful I bought my home in 2023. It's all relative, right? And so home prices are so expensive today, and it's relative. I have people that move from out of state and they're like, wow, these homes are so affordable here, and we're so happy that we're moving and we're able to buy this. And I'm like, yeah, tell that to the locals. They think these home prices are crazy. And, again, it's all relative. So this is something that I hear all the time as well. And it's the fact that, as a first-time home buyer, it is incredibly difficult to find a house right now. It's only going to get more complicated and more expensive as the years come. So that's why I say that if you have the ability and you can find a way to financially get into a home today, and you're someone that's renting and you're trying to get that first home, it's so important that we try to find a way to get you to be a homeowner and build that equity so that in a couple of years you have a home to sell, and you're going to have that nest egg or that equity built up down payment wise, so you can go do that kind of move up buy to that home that you really want. But yes, there's a lot of people that are thankful they bought when they did. Trust me. I live on the lake here in Gainesville. My husband and I talk all the time, like, gosh, I'm so glad we bought when we did, because I don't know that we could afford to buy our house today. I say that we could. And, it's all of your perspective. So oftentimes I'm also in that buyer seat, and I kind of have that same conversations that you're having as well. But here in the Metro Atlanta area, barring anything nationally crazy happening with the economy, I don't see anything locally causing prices to go down. We're only seeing upward pressure on prices. There is an historic low inventory all across the nation, but especially here in the Atlanta area. And I'll share some more data on that here in a little bit. John says that when I bought my new construction build, I had my home inspector check it out and he caught a few things. Most of the issues were cosmetic. Yes. And so this is really something that, for the most part, hopefully that's the good outcome, right? That's what you want. You want, hopefully, that the home inspector is only going to find cosmetic things. And you might think, oh, well, that was a waste of money. Those are things that I would have been able to find. But you're just buying that peace of mind that, thank goodness, that home inspector didn't find anything major. Because then obviously that's also a little bit of a scary thing to know that you're buying a house that a builder missed something on that could be potentially huge. But, hopefully that is the great outcome, is that hopefully there's only cosmetic things. And 9 times out of 10, it is just mostly cosmetic. And you're getting that assurance that there's nothing major there. All right. So if you have any questions about making a move, make sure that you ask those questions below. We'd love to answer those and help you kind of navigate this wild roller coaster of a real estate market, whether you're thinking about buying and selling or even in your local market. I'd love to help maybe give you some insight wherever you live. So if you have any questions, make sure that you ask those below. But home prices was a good kind of segue as to what we're seeing here in the Metro Atlanta area and kind of like why we're seeing that. So I wanted to share with you an article that kind of really talks about why we're seeing these pressures on home prices here in the Metro Atlanta area. So let me get that article pulled up for you. All right, so this article is in the Atlanta Business Chronicle. Don't y'all just love these big ads across screens? It says Atlanta's housing shortage weighs on the spring market. Let me tell you, as a real estate agent, I'm feeling this every single day for my buyers that were out there house hunting and trying to find inventory. It's rough out there right now. It can be done. We're getting people under contract all the time, and we are actively staying on it for our clients. Metro Atlanta's housing market is getting busier with spring's arrival, but a stubborn shortage of supply continues to frustrate prospective home buyers. So when we look at the amount of homes that are available for sale in Atlanta, there were a little more than 5,000 homes in the Metro Atlanta's 12 county kind of core last month, according to our MLS data. Now, this is an increase. It says a second consecutive monthly increase after 7 straight months of decline. However, home sales in March were down 27%. And why were they down 27% compared to that same month in 2022? Well, part of that has to do with mortgage rates. We're seeing mortgage rates kind of float in between 6 and 7%. Now, they haven't been up at the high 6s. We're now kind of like getting back down to our low 6s, but that's not the only reason. So whenever you see these doom and gloom headlines, they're talking about how high interest rates are pushing buyers out of the market. And while some of that is true, yes, some buyers are exiting out of the market because of this. It's really the fact that these current rates are combined with the home prices that continue to remain high. It's presenting affordability challenges for buyers. So one of the reasons, though, that the home prices remain so high is the fact that housing supply fell to historic lows in February 2022. It's come back a little bit, but there's still less homes for sale than what there should be. It says supply is waning again. It's dwindling. The homes are leaving the market. It says the number of homes for sale in Metro Atlanta has fallen for 5 straight months. So that's daunting, right? So it's supply and demand, right? Less homes for sale, more buyers that want to buy this. Well, sellers can kind of still get the prices that they want to get for the homes. And that's why we're not seeing those home prices fall. That is why when you're saying I'm happy I bought in 2018, well, there's a lot of people 5 years from now, they're going to say, well, even though I felt like that was a lot in 2023, I'm happy I did then because home prices have continued to increase. This person says, the Atlanta Realtors Association president said, we continue to be challenged by extremely low inventory levels and the changes in mortgage interest rates. So We talk about this a lot here on the channel every single Wednesday, but the month supply of homes for sale is a key metric that we look at. So we often refer to the month supply of inventory, and it says a balanced market exists when there's 6 months supply, and a normal seller's market exists when there's 4 to 6 months supply. And then here's the kicker. Metro Atlanta had 1.8 month supply last month. Now that's taken into all of Metro Atlanta area, and in a lot of these areas that are popular with buyers here on my channel, areas like Swanee and Alpharetta, Cumming, all of those areas are right around like 1.3 month supply of inventory. So very low supply. And unfortunately, one of the things that we're seeing right now is that we have such low supply on the inventory. So when a new home hits the market, everyone's like, oh, a new house. And oh my gosh, it looks so good. I'm going to schedule a showing on that house. And that is how we get multiple offers in this market. We have everyone, all these buyers waiting for something new to come on the market. And when one does, you get a rush of buyers to that property. Then all of a sudden you have 5 to 10 buyers that want that house. They're all submitting offers, and then it becomes the highest and best. Who's willing to pay the most? And that is how you are getting these home prices that continue to go up. Unfortunately, the mortgage rates, although they're up, and you would think that would put downward pressure on home sales and home prices, well, you have a lot of local people that otherwise would sell their house, and they're not because interest rates are high. So those people that typically would sell their home to go to a different neighborhood, or they want a bigger backyard or a smaller house, they're saying, oh, we have a 3.5% interest rate. I'm just going to stay here because it's going to be a lot more expensive for me to go buy. So what we're really seeing right now is we're only seeing those sellers put their home on the market that absolutely kind of have to make a move. 9 times out of 10, the conversations that I'm hearing from agents, whenever they have a listing, it's because death, divorce, a baby, or having to relocate for a job. Those are kind of like the drivers of the homes that are getting put on the market right now. Oh, we have Jarek watching from Poland. Cousins live in Georgia. Thanks for watching. So if you have any questions about making a move to Georgia or buying or selling a house, make sure that you drop those in the comments below. I would love to answer those questions for you. One of the questions that I frequently get asked is, should I wait to buy a house? And my question to that, or my answer to that, is that, well, you have to do what's right for you, right? I can only give you the best information possible, point you to some trusted resources to help give you that information. And at the end of the day, things have to make sense for you. But just like that commenter said that they are happy that they bought in 2018, let's go back and put that up, that I'm just glad that I bought my house in 2018. Just like you have those people, you're going to have that same scenario for people saying, I'm glad I bought it in 2023. Home prices are only going to continue to go up. Hopefully, one day we might come to a situation where we don't have such incredibly low inventory, and maybe we're in a situation where it's more of a balanced market, where there's more buyers and sellers, and that's more of a balanced market where we can kind of get back to normal negotiations. But right now, it's a little bit frustrating because of such low inventory on the market. My answer to you, should you buy now or later, is what makes the most financial sense for you as a buyer. Oftentimes I'm talking to buyers that are currently renting. And so if you're currently renting, you're paying someone's mortgage. You're paying someone's house down. You're paying someone's mortgage. And so you might as well put that money towards your own mortgage. Now, of course, you're going to have some additional expenses with your house. It's not just as simple as paying mortgage. You have maintenance upkeep on your house as well. You have taxes and you have homeowners insurance. So you've got to collectively factor all of that in. But I really do believe that it's always better to pay your own mortgage unless you're planning on, leaving the area relatively soon or within a short period of time. So once again, if you have any questions, make sure you drop those in the comments below. If you haven't checked out my channel, or if you're new to us tonight watching, I live stream just about every single Wednesday night at 6 o'clock Eastern, answering your questions about making a move. And every single Sunday, we put out a video about an area in the North Metro Atlanta area, educating you about what it's like to live there, what it's like to buy there, things that you should know about the area. And so we have tons of great resources for you. Of course, if you're thinking about making a move, I would love to help you with that. My contact information is directly below this video. You can call, text, email, you can find me on Instagram. However you want to get in touch with me, I would love to hear from you and help you make this move. We are so blessed that we get a chance to work with so many of each and every one of you that watch and reach out. And there's nothing more exciting than getting those phone calls and getting the chance to connect with you and help you. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop those below, and I would be happy to answer those questions for you. Dan says, are you seeing less delays and shortages in new construction compared to the last couple of years? That is a great question. And the answer to that is yes, we are seeing way less delays. So I can't tell you how frustrating it was as an agent to get your clients under contract on a new construction home and given a closing date, a couple months away. And then you get closer to that closing date and you realize, oh gosh, the builder doesn't even have windows in yet. And that is a delay in the building of a house. Windows are essential. There's things that come after windows. And so back in the height of the pandemic, I had one buyer whose home was delayed by over 9 months. And I had another buyer whose closing was delayed 4 months, and they were in a short-term lease and they had to keep extending. And it cost them quite a bit of money. And it was incredibly frustrating, but great news. We are not seeing those delays in the market like we were before. Almost all builders are now back to running on schedule. And I haven't heard any from my realtor friends either that they are experiencing anything like that as well. So good news is that you should not be experiencing those delays. Also, a lot of builders, because of the demand for new construction homes, have really kind of switched to a model of that. They don't really do a whole lot of pre-sales for lots anymore. There's some builders that will still do it, like Toll Brothers is a popular builder in our area and across the country, and they will still release lots and say, hey, the home's gonna be ready 10 months from now. But most builders have moved to kind of like a spec model business where they will start building those houses themselves, and then they'll release them when they're at a certain stage. And so they kind of learned that a little bit in the pandemic because they learned that they have a little bit more control of guaranteeing and making sure that they're hitting those timeframes for you as a buyer. If they can say, hey, we're good to release this house now for sale because we know that we're going to be able to hit our close date in the next 60 days. The builders, there's some better than others, but most builders don't want to disappoint you as a client either. They want that goodwill out in the community and they want to keep a really good reputation. So long answer to a short question, but no, we're not seeing those delays and shortages for new construction homes. All right. Well, it has been very exciting talking to y'all tonight. As always, if you haven't, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. We do this live stream every single Wednesday, just about every single Wednesday, unless I'm at an event. Dan says, what are some red flags with builders? Good question. So red flags to me with builders is that they don't come with a warranty. So you want a builder to have a builder's warranty, a minimum of a 1-year builder's warranty. Ideally, you want to see 1 year on craftsmanship and 5 or 10 year on systems and structure. So structural warranty, a strong structural warranty in place. You want to make sure that you can go look at a home that a builder is currently in the process of building, look at one of those spec houses that are being built and pay attention to the walls. I can't tell you how many new construction homes I go into, and if you pay attention to the corners and the baseboards, so many builders, not so many builders. There's a few kind of like low-end price point builders. Those walls are so crooked. And all that has to do with the framing of the house and how the framers making sure that they had the house kind of square whenever they built it. That's not something that you can like go back and fix. You have to like fix that in the actual framing. To me, that's a huge red flag with a builder. I could not buy a house with crooked baseboards or crooked walls. Pay attention to the corners, pay attention to the baseboards, see those other houses that the builder is currently in the process of being built or that they're almost finished to completion. You can go walk those houses. Now, you're going to need to get permission, but sometimes you might be able to do that after hours. You didn't hear that from me. But that is something that you want to check out as well. Definitely check out online their reputation. Ask other neighbors how they like their house. They will tell you whether or not they feel like they're getting, how their experience has been buying the house. And generally, what material is used in building a home in Georgia? In Poland, we're using bricks. So here in Georgia, almost all houses, occasionally you'll see a brick front home. It's kind of rare to see a four-side brick house. These used to be more popular, and it's not that they're not popular, it's just the fact that it's so expensive to build. So oftentimes you'll see brick or stone accents on the front of the house with hardy plank siding. That's a cement board siding. So that is something that needs to be painted every 7 to 10 years. But the core of our house, it's a concrete foundation with wood framing, and then you have the siding on the outside of it. So you're not going to see cinder blocks. There are some stucco houses here in Georgia, but in terms of new construction, it's just not a popular way to build houses anymore. Magdalena says, I'm looking to leave Illinois in the next year. Where can I start my city search when it comes to coming? Family of 3, 30-year-old nurses who loves boating and fishing. So you're going to be really close to Lake Lanier right there in Cumming. Reach out to us if you haven't already. We'd love to get you set up on a home search so you can kind of get an idea of what houses are selling for in your price point in Cumming. So we can help kind of give you that information. You kind of see what your money will get you there. We can also kind of look at some nearby towns as well. But that is a great first starting point. My contact information is below this video, so you can find my email there, or you can reach out to us by phone or send a text message. We'll connect and we'll get that set up and going for you. Bombshell Kitchen from Florida, moving to Georgia in 2024. Can you be my realtor? Yes, I would love to be your realtor. That is why I make these videos and help you. So it's never too early to reach out and connect with us. My contact information is right below the description in this video. You can send an email to hello@KeyPointHomesGroup.com, or you can call or email us. I just said that. You can call or text us rather. And you can go to my website, KeyPointHomesGroup.com, and you can do a contact us there. There's lots of different ways to reach out to us, and we'll make sure that we have a chance to connect. But it's never too early to start that planning process and kind of start talking and getting an idea of what you're looking for. Kind of the challenge of talking so early is just that it's kind of hard to predict what home prices are going to be. So sometimes I'll have clients say, hey, we want to retire there and our budget right now is $500,000. Well, we know that home prices are going to continue to go up. So what $500,000 gets you today is maybe not what $500,000 is going to get you in 6 months or 9 months or even a year. So, but it's a good starting point to kind of help you get an idea of what it looks like right now and what different types of homes look like. And it's just fun to browse, right? And do that research and plan and dream and get inspired. So yes, I would love to be your realtor and all of you watching. That is definitely why I make these videos and help you in terms that hopefully we get an opportunity to work together. And I would love the opportunity to work together. So like I said, my contact information is below this video. We answer your questions every single Wednesday right here on the channel at 6 o'clock Eastern. And of course, we have a whole library of videos that we have available to you to dive into, and we post new ones every single Sunday. So I'm looking forward to connecting with each and every one of you. In the meantime, make sure you check out all the other videos on my channel, and I will see y'all next week.